Yo, what's up, brothers and sisters?
What's
We are talking
thanks
crazy
for
shit today. Bullish bodybuilders, episode 8, I think. Episode 8 or 9. Who cares? Guys, what a fucking crazy time to be alive. Oh,
it is.
I'm
It's a
getting the
beautiful
back
time.
feed from my YouTube. Sam, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, I am doing awesome. I put together a list of some things for blood pressure that we'll talk about a little bit, for
Perfect.
lipids, for your cholesterol. So these are heart healthy things. There's a lot of people in the bodybuilding community, fitness community, but also just in general who don't pay attention to some of their health markers. So I want to
It's actually a
provide some of that
disease. I
stuff.
heard there's an actual disease name for people that are afraid to look at their health markers because they know they're bad. There's a disease name for that. There's a disease
Wow.
name for that, Sam. I couldn't remember what it was. I was watching a Leo longevity video, but it's the phenomenon of somebody that's so aware that they're dying that they cannot go to the doctors physically because they are like stuck at some shock point. Like fat.
Wow, I did not know that. So if you're here, thank you. Press that thumbs up button. If you want to support, you can check out the links down below for Scott. Hopefully, we'll be able to dual stream this in the future.
Soon,
I need
probably by next week. I have the
yes,
software. I just needed to figure out how to use it.
same, and I need to figure out where the YouTube link is because
What do you mean
having
the YouTube link? So if you go to just go to the bottom of the YouTube video and just hit the 3 dots. I have the link. I can send it to you.
perfect. And let's oh here, got it. Perfect.
We're gonna piddle paddle for about 10 or 15 minutes before we get into the meat and potatoes.
Let's talk about crypto.
Yeah.
Hey, Paula. Hey, Papa, Hexkin, and Human Trafficker Hex and Ninja. What's up, guys? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Glad to be here.
I'm learning about social media marketing while I do these live streams at such a fucking rapid pace because I'm literally doing it. Like I am a social media marketer and I'm learning about social media marketing at the same time. So it's like it's aggro because I'm getting all the feedback. I'm seeing all the analytics. I'm seeing who's clicking what, when, why, and can I spam shit all day long? Dude, I've been sending people my links in their messages all week long.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm telling it thousands.
Wow. Where? On Twitter, on Instagram?
Every one of my friends on Instagram, every one of my friends on Twitter. I don't care if they unfollow me. Unfollow me.
Yes.
I
love it.
I want you to see this, guys, because it's better than what you're seeing anyway. Because we're talking about longevity, heart health, financial freedom, and everything in between. It's fucking insane here.
This is gold. And it's actually a really cool thing to watch you grow through this process from a month ago, barely ever putting out content. You barely ever posted.
Never.
Yeah. And now you're going
Instagram for friends and family.
And you didn't even post there very often. It would be like once every 4 months or something, every 2 months.
Yeah. But I was very strategic. If anyone looks at my Instagram, I have a good Instagram. And if a lot of people like my Instagram, they think, oh, it's because it looks friendly. Like, it's like, oh, this guy's a human. He looks like he goes on trips. He has a nice, make yourself look presentable on Instagram as a human, but then have all your content like right underneath the surface, right? Because then anyone who actually likes you, I'm seeing that like having them both, I don't know. I'm going through a transition period right now. Anyway, guys, everyone in here, if you could, this is a first time for Justin Sprague. Justin, thank you for coming in.
Justin, what's good, brother? Hope you're doing awesome.
Ninja Chopsticks, great to see you guys. I usually start at 12, so I'm not going to worry about piddle paddling for a little bit because I am sending links out and doing stuff like that. I want to see if we can get some people in here while we're talking. Guys, I want to say a couple of things about Hedron real quick. And probably so does Sam. So I want to talk about Hedron. Anyone who's listening, anyone who's watching the rerun on this, guys, realize that Hedron is a gift from God right now. It's free. That's why I'm saying that. Not because the project's the best thing ever, because it's free, guys. Free money exists online, and that's a really important concept to kind of get your head around because I'm going to have 10 more free money opportunities this year, and you're going to have 0. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like this compounds too. I have Hex Stakes. Hedron comes out. There's going to be a DApp for Hedron, I bet. It's probably going to have an airdrop. Could be lit.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the more projects you're in, the more exposure you have. And it's not about money. It's about being exposed, literally. You have to understand what's occurring, and money is the conduit to that usually. Like if you have $1,000 in something, it's much easier to research.
Yes. Oh, you can't. We talked about this yesterday. If you try to describe, Justin, if you try to, or anybody else in the comments, if you try to describe sex to somebody who has not had sex, it is a very challenging thing because that person has never had sex. Well, the same thing applies to running a business or being in crypto. You don't understand crypto until you have money in crypto. You just don't get it. And yes, you could have the peripheral understanding of like you take the penis and you put it in the fucking vagina, but it's completely different.
That's a great point with the penis and vag, though, because when you're young, you're like, it's like, oh, this goes there. That's very literal and doesn't really mean anything. But in reality, it means everything.
Yes.
So it's fucking weird concept, right? Like sex is always the weirdest concept that people tangle with first because it is confusing. It has emotional and nuanced perspectives that you cannot understand unless you dive in. And in this case, we're talking about crypto. Get yourself a hex stake for $100. What else are you doing with your money, you dorks? You know what I mean? You're probably doing nothing with it. So I'm saying everyone looks at me like, Scott, I'll worry about crypto when I need to. I'm like, what are you worrying about? Because this is your money for the future. Everyone looks at me. They're like, Scott, all you care about is the price chart. I'm like, yes, you're correct. All I care about is the price chart. You have just nailed it because that's all this is, guys. Which price chart goes up more faster? Why?
Like what other value are you getting out of holding dollars, right? Like if your dollar became more valuable, like an actual investment instead of holding dollars is effectively investing into the United States currency that we know what the outcome is. It's going to go down. You look at the past 9 decades or 10 decades, we know the dollar is going to go down in value. And we're looking at crypto with the expectation that it's going to go up. So we do pay attention to the price of it. Not that we're going to change anything we do necessarily, but at 100%. I also read through the entire white paper and their website. So if there's 3 things Hedron can do. If you have a hex stake native to hex.com, you can just mint free money, as Scott was talking about. You just get free money.
And I don't, if you're hearing that free money thing, just know that's a normal part of crypto. Don't think that's, oh, what is this, an anomaly? No, this is how crypto is, guys. Uniswap. Every Uniswap user got $40,000 of Uniswap at the top of Uniswap, the token. So you know the token for Uniswap, right?
No, I still have to dive in.
Just know there is a token for that, okay? It was given for free, and at the top it was $40,000, $45,000. That was the price of that free claim chunk that most people got. Although I don't know how the air claim that, maybe that was just the amount that I got. I can't remember.
Well, just tell them literally about what's happened with you. You just got $500, $600 of free money.
All right, so I am someone who's really invested into crypto, learning about crypto. I have hex stakes. That's where I keep most of my retirement stuff. And as far as crypto, like retirement crypto, that's most of my bag is retirement, let's say. A protocol came out which wants to use the hex stakes as a system in order to, benefit the hex users, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, there's a new cryptocurrency out that was given to every hex staker for free. And we're talking about for free, like forever. Like it's going to keep minting on our stakes forever. And we didn't have to do anything. Nobody understands how deep this is, guys. That's why I always preach, grab this by the horns and dive in. There's not anything me and Sam are going to say right now that's going to explain the depth and the weight of what's going on here, because we are under the spell as well. It's so big and large and vast that it is hard to even quantify.
And whenever somebody said free money in the past, like you'd be like, okay, cool. Well, it was nice to meet you, scammer. Bye. But like, that's literally the reality of crypto. 2 other things that you can do with Hedron is, so if you natively stake with Hex, you can just get free money. And like Scott was mentioning, that just continues into the future. Like if you hold Hex, you can get free Hedron. Period.
So that means Hedron wants Hex to succeed, basically. Like in my eyes, like that is Hedron is attached to Hex as a value proposition, in my opinion.
And so there's two other pieces here which are very interesting. And then I'm curious to hear what you think about Hedron and how it correlates to Hex, but we'll talk about that in a second. The next is borrowing. So if you take your smart contract with Hex, so you're staked with Hex, so that's just a smart contract. You take that and you put another smart contract on top of your Hex smart contract. Now that allows you to do two more things than just mint-free Hedron. It allows you to borrow against that. So say, hypothetically, somebody has $100,000 equivalent of Hex or $1,000.
Thanks for stopping by, Keith. Please stay in here, man. Keith's a really good guy. He's up in that Twitter space. He's one of my buddies.
What's up, Keith? And what's up, 369 Crypto Gains Club? So
what up, Gains Club?
With the borrowing, Scott, you can pull all the future free minting that you would get, right? Because you're just going to continue to mint for free. But say you have 12 years.
So you're saying right now, as a use case, I'll put myself in the position, okay? So I had a horrible car accident. Oh my God. I don't have any medical insurance. Something went crazy. $500,000 I owe, or something crazy like that. Let's say I'm a baller Hex OG diamond hands hodler, and I need some cash right now. I could take one of my stakes and actually extract the full value of that stake in Hedron, sell it, and then I owe however that protocol works, whichever days and
I can touch on that.
Touch on it.
Okay, so which is a beautiful thing because it's different than how credit cards and everything else, any other borrowing works in the legacy world. To do for the payment, so the payment is going to be based upon the length of the remainder of your stake. So if you borrow and you have 14 years left, you take basically 14 years divided by 30. That's going to be the number of payments you have left. Now, how they calculate the interest rate on that is they take the global Hex APY, which I think is around 37%, divided by 2, and then you create like a daily interest rate, and then you get it multiplied times 30. So say, for example, it's 40% hypothetically for a global Hex APY. Divided by 2 is 20. So you take 20 divided by the number of days per year, so you get a daily interest rate, multiply that times what's good times 30 because there's 30 days in a payment period, and that will be your interest. But it's not charging interest on the principal balance. It's only charging it on the payment, which means that that's like a 1%. You're going to get like a 1.5%.
I think it's 1.5%. 1.5.
Yeah, about 1.5% interest to borrow all that money, which is crazy. So I've got a strategy here, Scott. Think about this, and I'm not saying anybody should do this. This is just an idea that I had. So hypothetically, if somebody has like a 15-year stake in Hex, they borrow against that. Their lending rate, meaning how much they're paying to borrow that money, is say 1.5% annually. So they borrow, 100,000 Hedron, and their payment in Hedron is going to be, whatever that comes out to be, 2,000 Hedron per month for 80 months or whatever 15 years comes out to be. So take 2 years worth of Hedron payments, leave that there to make those payments. In the interim, take the remainder, so you have 48,000 or something, or whatever the number of amount you have to pay out is, take the rest of that and invest it into Hex to get additional stakes, because what is the interest rate on Hex? 37%. So if you take the rest of the Hedron, convert it to Hex, and you earn 37%, you're earning 37% on this hand, while at this hand you're paying 1.5%. You get the delta between those two things.
Sounds like I will probably experiment with that.
Right? That sounds a very.
I mean, I have a lot of stakes, so it's like, what's the worst that can happen if you lose a stake? You lose a couple $1 million in the future. That would hurt, but yeah. So guys, Hedron. At the end of the day, Hedron is a legit project. The token is speculative at the moment. There is some future game theory that does make the token not as speculative, but at the same time, the game theory for the token, and what Sam probably doesn't understand, is that it's more social, the game theory. Like whoever has the most Hedron can like buy up those stakes that go out, right? So whoever has the most Hedron basically is the king of whoever fucking liquidates their shit. So like being the king of anything is beneficial, because then you get the best deals and you get the most frequency. So it's Cool.
You're like the person who hosts the party. You're the cool kid. You're the person who everybody knows. Oh, how do you know Scott? Because it's Scott's house that's having the party. Everybody knows Scott. You can also tokenize your stake in Hex. So what that means is you can tokenize it as an NFT to sell it on other NFT marketplaces. So they didn't talk about this, but this is the idea, and I'd love to hear what anybody has in the comments or you, Scott. So if you take your Hex stake and you tokenize it to an NFT, it locks your Hex. So you cannot end stake your Hex while it is tokenized.
Dude, to be honest, I can't get. To be honest, I would need someone else to be sure that I was not missing any points on that.
Well, I don't plan on doing it, but
no, I know. But wait, tomorrow we can maybe get a little more. Like, we had a couple minutes, 16 minutes, 20 minutes, guys. We talked about Hedron. At the end of the day, if you're not pressing the research button on Hedron, you're a moron. Look up Hedron, guys. We can't. You're not going to absorb everything from us. Go online. Look up Hedron. Look up the numbers. Guys, free money. And I'm talking like thousands of dollars. I'm not talking about I just got thousands of dollars for being alive and clicking button. Like, you know what I mean? That's the reality, but people don't want to dig, guys. The reason we're here before everyone else is because we are the guys that are willing to dig and not will. I don't go out to drink. I don't go out to do anything. All I do is dig because I don't have time to do anything else. And Richard Hart came on live and said a really good point that I think you'll like, Sam. He said a point that you'll like so much. He said, guys, putting in all your best effort is just as like that'll just get you there. Like he was basically saying, like, even for him, like max effort just makes him finishing like okay. Like he says, I have to go in all day long just to break even, and then you have to be talented within that time to like succeed. So like basically he said anyone who has a legit business is doing 16 hours a day. It's basically what he meant. Because it's true. And I'm experiencing it in this moment. Like for the first time in my life, I have a 24-hour job. It's 24-hour. Like when I crack my eyes open and when I could, but I'm not saying I can't separate time from it, but like this is my purpose now.
And it's also not that it's a bad thing necessarily because you enjoy it. It's like fun for you to talk about, to learn.
It's the only thing that has meaning to me right now.
Correct. Maybe that changes in the future.
So guys, we're on the topic of meaning in life and prosperity and stuff. I do want to change the topic just a little bit. Seriously. I need to switch this up real quick. Switch it up, okay?
Get a little dance going on.
We're going from crypto, and now we're talking about how do we stay alive 20 years from now and thrive? And that's the general. I just want to have the same conversations with Sam with the same intensity 20 years from now with the same amount of artery blockage that I have now. You know what I mean? I don't want to die, guys. And if you did not die from heart disease, cancer, or anything health related, like if you just lived on, guess how long you would live on average before you died of a random accident?
120?
It's like a mad high amount. It's like 200 or like, it's like, I think it was like either 200 years or 600 years. I think it was 600 years that you would live on average if you only died from an accident.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy, Sam? So you'd 6x your life if you didn't. And they said if you took away cancer completely, if cancer no longer existed, like the life expectancy would only go up like 2 years. Because people are dying before they get cancer. Cancer is just the death part.
CDC, the number one killer is heart disease.
Yeah, it's absolutely sick. And you guys have no idea how preventable heart disease is. One of the most elementary. When I say elementary, you have to go to the doctor, get blood work done, and ask them 3 questions. And they either give you a medication or tell you to eat healthier. That's it. Boom. But as statins, guys, the literature is in on statins. If you have heart disease, if you have family history, if your arteries are blocking bad, take fucking statin, go to your doctor, figure that shit out. It's there for, even if you're only going to eat Taco Bell, would you rather be dead? Like just go to the doctor and get a statin. That's what I don't understand. Even the people that are obese, fat, clogged arteries, don't work out. Literally all you can, there is technology to the point where you can go to the doctors and they'll give you a statin and you'll live for another 20 years being a little fuckhead.
So statins are going to help with, just to give more perspective or context on statins. Statins are going to help with your lipid profile. So like your lipids are your cholesterol, right? That's going to basically kind of like tar that's going to build up inside of your arteries. That's where your blood is flowing.
I like to think of it like egg whites. Like if blood was the egg white, like it's like almost it starts the more cholesterol, the more it gets like an egg white. And it gets and it almost gets sticky and it binds to things. Like, you know, when something gets touched to egg white, it kind of binds to it. It's almost that's not good going through your arteries, right? You want it to be a little more thin, a little bit more fluid, something that would push through holes and just move. But like imagine a blockage and then your blood gets so thick that it turns into like an egg white and it's just like pushing through that clog. It's just you're gonna die. Did you know Callie? You remember Callie Gaines or whatever?
Callie Muscle, yeah.
He died before he died, guys. Before he died, he went to the doctors and had a 100% blockage in his coronary artery.
Wow. I did not know that.
There was no blood going through it.
And if you are at the stage where you like want to start moving in the right direction or don't know what to do and you don't want to take a statin, there's things that you can do outside of that, whether it is just like increasing your cardiovascular health, like being more fucking active in just life in general is going to be positive for longevity.
Well, let's cut through the fat. These guys are eating like shit, Sam. And they're not working out and they're sitting at their desk and they're praying to God they don't die. Basically, Sam, because I'm praying to God I don't die and I'm fit. You know what I mean? Like shit happens, guys. Family history is so important. Family. Hi, Heinz Crypto. Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Vitamin B3, niacin, is more effective than statins at increasing HDL. So you have your lipid profile, like your main lipid profile, not like an in-depth, is your total cholesterol, HDL, LDL, and triglycerides.
Is the LDL under 80? Is that the LDL under 80? I think that's the United States metric for
under 100. Yep.
Under 100. Oh, it's under 100. So under 100, they say plaque buildup is negligible. So if you can get your LDL under there, they say it's negligible as far as the plaque buildup. So just knowing these numbers, guys, I want you to go into blood work, some of these numbers. I'm going to give you the floor for 5 minutes. What can these guys do legitimately? Like it, and I'm talking basic. You don't have to get all crazy on them, but just what would you do if you were worried and you had no clue, but you had all the knowledge you do now, but you had no clue, you were worried. I want to know my blood pressure. I want to know what markers do I have to look at and how easy is it to get blood work and how easy is it to do all this stuff semi on your own?
All right, so completely agree. I started tracking blood work like over the last couple of years. It's definitely an intelligent thing to do. So if you don't want to talk to your doctor or don't want to deal with any of that, you can still get blood work done. If you just Google blood work online, there's sites like walkinlabs.com or walkinlab.com. You can go pick out the specific lab test that you want to go get blood work done, and then you go to Quest Diagnostic or LabCorp to get your blood work done. It's not through a doctor, but it is the same exact tests that are done. So if you get your lipid panel done, which is your cholesterol, and your shit's fucked up, meaning your HDL is too low, your LDL is too high, your triglycerides are too high, that would be like a bad cholesterol profile that you'd want to do something about. Two things you can do tremendously, like first of all, get vitamin B3, niacin, take at least 1 gram per day. That has been more effective than statins at increasing HDL and dropping LDL. Statins are fantastic at dropping LDL.
Do you have that? Do you supply any of that?
I have it in my cupboard. I just use it for myself from like I get it from Walmart or something like that, I think.
Because I'm going to write down all these brands because I am making a supplement company at some point. I mean, come on, Sam. Yes. Come on, Sam.
Yes.
It's just I'm going to have a stack for everything. So I'm going to say this is like my expert figured out like bottom level stack, what you should be taking daily. And then obviously anything further than that, you have to see a doctor. But as far as vitamins, you're not getting this information from your doctor because guess what, guys? They don't fucking know. They don't know unless they're studying that at the moment, because what they lie to you about in life is that somehow studying for 10 years straight a decade ago makes a difference in the moment. And it does not, because I could study intimately for 10 weeks straight a subject, and I'm going to know more than a doctor because he's talking about 100 different things throughout his day. He's talking about general medicine. General medicine is such a wide landscape. I'm literally looking at these certain concepts like bodybuilding, heart disease, blood pressure, anything that would kill me pretty much is what I'm interested in. But happens that every other guy is also interested in this stuff. I was in the group chat last night, the Hex Twitter space chat, and I was pumping this shit up. I was like, guys, we're talking about fucking heart disease. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Sequoia Stone. Thank you so much for coming through. If you could, I appreciate you so much, and I hope you stay here, and you're very awesome, guys. P has a statement on that. Ooh, P, controversial.
Yes.
So
There's a lot
true,
of
though.
doctors. There's a lot of doctors who don't care and don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, but like what I'm trying to preach to people is they can't care.
Correct.
It's such a different concept though, and you know this nuancely because you've thought about these kind of things. But doctors can't give a fuck because they're busy as fuck and they're not getting paid that much. Believe it or not, whatever you think, 300 grand when you're working 16 hours a day is normal. That's normal if you're if you're someone who's going balls to the walls. Maybe that's not normal starting, but after 5 years in the business, yes. Doesn't matter if you're a doctor or anyone, you should be making 300K a year if it's your own business, right? Anyway, doctors cannot know things because they're not incentivized to know things, and there's too many things to know. Therefore, how could they?
Yes, correct. They have this broad spectrum of medicine, health in general, without like diving into that specific thing. Like Scott mentioned, if he takes 2 weeks and dives into it 2 hours a day into whatever issue he might be having, he'll be an expert relative to the doctor in that specific area, unless he sees a specific doctor who is an expert in that fucking area.
If a doctor came in here, any guy who's ever prescribed testosterone in this area, that's not a TRT professional specifically, was talking on this webcam to me and Sam, he would have no fucking clue what we were talking about. I guarantee it. Because how? How, Sam? This is all we do, Sam. We go to the gym every day. We look up any new fitness literature. Yep. Any new fitness literature we watch. So we are there before them, guys. This isn't in a textbook. This isn't. Well, there is stuff for heart disease and stuff, of course, but
there's also a very perverse incentive system we have in the medical world where, in my opinion, very bluntly, doctors are basically affiliates for drug companies, because an affiliate, right? If you check the link down below, Scott has a link for those awesome shields behind him. If you want to grab one and you want to support Scott, you can check those out. There's a discount code and everything like that. But if you look at what doctors do, I think Hex Papa mentions it here. They're going to give you a drug because they get paid to give you a drug versus solving the problem.
And the reality is, people, that's what they want.
Crazy, right?
I go in there and I start bucking with the doctor. They don't want to give me shit, dude. Trust me. Trust you me. When I go to the doctor, in the minute I open my arrogant mouth, they are like, please, God, do not ask me any more questions. That's all they want me to do, is stop asking them questions. Because I start prying at their pride. And it's true. I'm like, dude, I'm a rando. I'm broke as shit. I am not educated, and you're a fucking loser. Not a loser, guys. But I'm saying, when me and Sam say loser, we say people that are not taking control of the now. Like people that are not doing what they need to right now. And that's what we're preaching right here too. Like, guys, heart disease is preventable. Really? This whole thing could stop at probably go to your doctor, get blood work, look at your LDL, look at your HDL, eat better. But that's not what we're preaching. We're preaching that you have to change everything because you're not thinking right. You're fucking dumb. If you're fat and overweight and you're watching this and you're struggling, like, you need to wake up because you're going to die from this. And I'm not saying if you're fat and happy, then just fucking stop watching this. Or like,
The
Yeah.
same thing goes for people's, like, not only their health, because I completely agree. You got to take control of your own health, but you got to do that in your financial life. That's what we're talking about crypto. You have to do it in your relationships, both with friends and intimate relationships. You need to own up to all of the fucking shit you need to do in each one of those pieces, because in health, like, you can see the direct result of not taking care of your health. You're fucking dead, right? Well, that's going to happen to all of your relationships, whether it's friends, family, or intimate relationships, if you don't take responsibility to actually take care of that shit.
Dude, don't you wanna die on your cross, bro? Like, don't you wanna die with your sword in the air? Like, that's how I wanna die. Like, I'm not talking about physically fighting anyone, but I wanna have gave it everything. Everything, and
Yes,
if
correct,
I get
correct.
shot in the face or something crazy happens, like, fuck it, like, it's life, but if until that moment, I will try my hardest, and I will not give a fuck what anyone thinks about me, because you cannot. To be successful, you have to stop completely. It's not even we don't even consider what other people think. It doesn't even enter our bubble
And
because
this,
it
this,
can't. It can't. Or you'll stop. You won't be able to. It's not how this works. I'm so confident in me. That's basically me saying everyone else is wrong. Not like the people that love me, of course, but like I have to double down on me and say, fuck everyone else. I'm in this meat basket and I'm right as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to
it's
do
your
what I
life.
think. Exactly.
I say this to my mom and my dad and my girlfriend. Like, I love you guys. You're awesome. Like, I appreciate your support and you being in my life, but like, I don't give a shit what the fuck you think. In all honesty, like, doesn't matter to me, because I got to do it for me.
And
I
you
have to be
saw that
happy.
pain from me back in the day,
Yes.
ripping through my chest. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I wanted to be honest. I couldn't with the people around me. I was like, I don't know what to do. They're all going to judge me. And they did. But at the same time, it was mostly just me.
It
It
was
was just me.
primarily.
It was just me. I couldn't stop thinking about everything. I don't know what it is exactly, but like once you let go completely, like I let go completely. I'm just like, oh my, there's no one that could come in this room and tell me anything. And they know that, most of them. Like, they could be nice and do this and that, and like we'll talk. But like as far as what I'm doing, if anyone wants me to stop or do anything else, it's like I wouldn't even consider thinking about it.
Yes. So on the lipid thing, and then we can move on to like blood pressure. Lipid, vitamin B, blood work. Go get blood work done. You can get it through doctor. You can order it yourself. Vitamin B3, niacin at 1 gram per day, tremendously helpful for LDL, triglycerides, and HDL. Things like red yeast rice or krill oil, super beneficial. Look into this stuff, like the diet changes you need to make, and start being active more. The increase in activity is going to help with your cholesterol profile. Scott, when was the last time, just being honest, just because there was many, many, many years where I didn't check mine. And I just started checking in the last, 6 months. My blood pressure. Have you ever checked your blood pressure? And I think he's ran off to the bathroom or whatever. Hex Champion 369. Doctor and medical insurance is a scam. I completely agree. It's ridiculous. But let's talk about blood pressure. If you guys, we had a couple people in yesterday when we were talking about blood pressure. It's like the silent killer. This is one of the things that is linked with heart disease. Remember, heart disease is one of those things that is the number one killer in America. The number one killer, according to the CDC, right? We can talk about how corrupt or how biased the CDC is, but according to the CDC, the number one killer is heart disease. So heart disease is like a aggregation of several different pieces of things that will go through and kill you, like maybe heart attack or stroke or different metabolic syndromes or whatever. Well, blood pressure is linked to all of these things, including like diabetes, blindness, ED, erectile dysfunction, stroke, all this stuff. So how do you go through and control your blood pressure? 6 months ago, roughly, probably a little bit less than 6 months ago, I got a blood pressure monitor. I started monitoring it every day. And my blood pressure was in the mid to high 140s, over 80-ish, which isn't bad, but 140 over 145, say over 80 is horrible blood pressure. Like, that's like go see a fucking doctor and get medicine to lower your blood pressure. I wanted to test myself to really dive in to see if I could control that. And now I'm 120 or 122 or 118 over, say, 60 or 70 at this point, which is perfect blood pressure. And I can share all of the things that I've done personally to correct mine because I made some notes with that. But Scott, have you ever gone through and checked your blood pressure?
Just experimentally as far as numbers, but I never actually done any double back research on it at all because I never cared until this moment, guys. Until and I'm starting to lay in bed and I'm starting to feel the activities in my temple when my earbuds are in, which I hadn't felt before in my life, Sam. Which means like the blood's pumping into my
Yes.
ear. Do you know what I'm saying, Sam? And I've been under a lot of stress, Sam. You know that. Not stress, like good stress. Like I've just been working myself to the fucking bone, and that's the way I like it. But at the same time, I'm starting to worry. I'm starting to worry, Sam, because when I go to the gym, sometimes I feel like I'm going to faint. But that might be normal. That might be normal.
It's still, I would highly recommend either getting one of those monitors or at this moment, right? Because I know everything that's going
I'll do
on.
it right now. Whatever. What do you want me to buy?
It's probably like 30 to 50 bucks at either Walmart or Amazon, and get a blood pressure monitor and start tracking it. So I have a notepad on my table where I keep the monitor. And at first, until I got it under control, I was checking multiple times a day. Now that I've got it under control, I check several times a week. Paula had just mentioned what those numbers mean. I just shared a screen with you of what
Hold on real quick, and I'm going to share that screen in 2 seconds. There is a man in this chat right now. There's a man, and his name is Balliot Brand. Remember that name, Sam. You're going to see that name a lot. That is one of the OG Hexicans. He's 25. I can't remember exactly how old he is. I think he's 25. He's completely retired, full-time Hexican, absolute one of the nicest guys in the world. I mean, seriously, when I say one of the nicest guys in the world, he's so fucking nice, and he's open-minded too. And he calls people out on their bullshit. And he has a wonderful YouTube channel. Please follow it. Like, he actually has really good videos on there that you should probably watch. So, and his live streams are great. So follow. Let me help out a little. Jim Rat, text me back. Text
Brand.
you. Uh-oh. Brand.
Somebody's getting called out. What? So let's go. Share that screen for just a second, so they get to see this on the blood pressure thing. So you have the systolic and the diastolic. This, if you can think of like a piston in a car, but I know like I didn't really understand. I don't pay attention to cars that much. It's not super important to me. But basically, when the piston is closing, so it's putting pressure on it, that means it's pushing all of that to combust and then go out throughout the engine to create the power. That's what this is. There's probably a much better example, but when your heart is contracting, right? When your muscle is flexing, your heart is contracting and it's pushing the blood out through the arteries. That's this number here. Now the diastolic, when your heart is contracting, so now that piston closed and now it's opening back up, right? You just flexed and now you're opening it back up. That's this number. So when it's at rest, that's this number. So 120 over 80 would be fantastic. Remember, I had one reading, which was 152 over like 86 or something. That's, remember, 150 right here. So that's hypertension, right, above 140. High blood pressure, like stage 2. Like, you're fucked. Go see a fucking doctor because you have horrible blood pressure. You're going to run into like heart disease, stroke, heart attack. Diabetes has a higher risk, blindness, erectile dysfunction, all these different issues related to this. Now I'm in this green area. I even got it down all the way to 106. So somebody mentioned in the comments, I think it was Kevin Abercrombie, what can you do? What can you do about your blood pressure? I love all the hearts and emojis in the comment section. That's awesome.
Yo, Brand fucking texting me up right now and it's distracting me, but I love him so much. I love Brand. Thanks for teaching and educating us about health, guys. Dude, thank you so much, Brand.
So I can tell you exactly what I did, and I'm curious to see what Scott's results are. And Paula, when he gets the blood pressure monitor, you should check that as well. just for health reasons, and then we can approach it if there's an issue to change it. But what I personally did, this is better than college. Fuck yeah, this is awesome. Like you learn so much more on YouTube than you did in college.
Oh God, Sam, my heart is beating too fast not because of anything in particular, guys. Like it's just I get so excited. I get too excited about the future, literally the future. Like I get into these moments and PR sees me in here. It's like I won't even talk to her. I'm like, I just sit there and my eyes are wide open and someone will text me and I'm like, I forget where I'm at. And I'm like, this is so good. This is so good. I'm so glad I'm here right now. This is a great place to be. I want to read through a couple chats and just let Sam keep going. I want to because he's really fucking killing it. And everyone follow Sam Stoll on everything. This is legit info, guys, not the BS Furu shit. This is no Furu shit. Swear to God, like we're not talking out. We love this stuff. You know it. Why else would we talk? I give a fuck about anyone dying from heart disease. This is all I know, guys. Heart disease, gym, supplementation, crypto. That's all I know.
Sequoia mentioned.
Oh wait, I gotta
careful.
Careful. You know, she calls me Swiss cheese because I got hacked, and she said I had to switch my name to Swiss cheese. I remember her on Twitter, and I did. My name is still Swiss cheese on Twitter. Hexagon Papa, thank you so much for everything you've done for me, being a nice guy, always supporting me. Sequoia, I hope you're. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Sequoia. Hex Champion Sequoia, thank you so much. P, always, thank you for coming in here and being such a sweetie pie. Diet equals habitual eating. Yes, Bally, it's so friendly. I've got low blood pressure. What can you do to tell? Thank you for stopping by, Kevin. I'm going to Crypto Gains Club. Oh, yeah, let me wrench. Before I forget, let me wrench Bally.
And then in a moment, I'll share what I've done to control mine.
Absolutely. We're going to go right back to him because he's absolutely smoking it. Who else is in here? I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone.
Yeah, Keith.
This is a buddy of mine.
I had hypertension at 29, took BP meds daily. Then I started working out 2 hours a day. Not only lowered my BP naturally, but lost 67 pounds. Fucking awesome.
Hey, Keith, I know you're at work right now, but we need to have, because we were talking about this last night, me and Keith. Seriously, this dude went balls deep and figured all this shit out for himself and took control of his life. And he's a big dude. Like, he was a big dude. He's not anymore. But, like, this dude, come on, guys. This dude took his health. He said, I was a fat fuck. He said it. And then he's like, he lost 67 pounds, guys. What the fuck? And he got his blood pressure under control. This man was going to die from this. And he knows that. Jim Rat, you're raising your blood pressure. I know. This is literally my life. Like it's a nasty cycle of me being like, be healthy, and then I'm like, wah.
Scott, I've got a challenge that I thought of this morning that I think I'm gonna do, and I thought you might find it interesting. On what we were talking about yesterday, where compounds are just anything that's going to stimulate your receptors in some way. And obviously there's different receptors you're going to stimulate, but I will, and I've been on stimulants basically since I was 19, primarily just caffeine, but like, we talked about ephedra.
I don't think most people think of caffeine as a stimulant. I know it is, but like, I don't think even most people, because it's a chronic illness at this point, everyone drinks caffeine all day. So they don't even know that it's like a stimulant. They just think it's like a normal, like little booster.
Have you ever thought, because we had talked about THC, right, weed, but what about dropping stimulants? I'm going to test this out and completely drop and then remember, I've been taking caffeine.
You don't have to test it, bro. Well, you can test it for your health, but let me tell you, it works like a charm and your life gets better 100% in every way.
Because I have an abundance of energy. I don't need it. And I still
me neither.
It.
I went years without drinking caffeine. And I went years, and it does make no difference, guys. Here to tell you, it's just you just damage your receptors. You get a habit, and then you have a habit that gives you a boost in the moment, and then hours later, it just gives you a little negative. But at the same time, Adderall's, if you have an acute thing that you need to do, like there's entrepreneurial stacks you can do for that short term. That's what I preach, Sam. It's that short term. Like, let's say I have to do a project. I can take stimulants for 2 months. And then stop for the rest of the time until I have another big project. Because guess what, guys? There's only certain times in your life where you really have to do things that are complicated. Like most of the time you're cruising, and then there's like a complicated thing that you dive into. And it,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, you go.
I was just going to read some of these comments. So Sequoia says, Keith, great job. Very proud of you. I'm also proud of you. That's amazing. I'm happy.
I'm also proud of you.
I think this is something Scott can probably relate with, and some of the people in the comments, that years ago, I wasn't as happy and excited about other people's progress. And there was certain moments in time where there was a little bit of maybe envy or jealousy. And today, when I see people winning and succeeding and like massive progress in whatever it is that they're doing, I get excited. I get inspired, where that wasn't always the case. So Keith, fucking awesome job. And you improved your cholesterol profile. Your total cholesterol was over 200. Now it's under 130. Fucking fantastic.
So Bran, let's talk. Bran, I'm an expert. And so is Sam on this topic. Has to be, because we're literally test dummies for this stuff. Like, Bran, let me tell you, big deal stuff here. The stims are not bad. I said it. They're not bad. But you have to understand everything about the stim in order to keep you, because I'm a 100% stimulant addict. I want to say this again. I am a 100% stimulant addict. Now, today, do I take stimulants? I mean, yeah, I drink caffeine, but today, am I taking stimulants? Absolutely not. Do I plan on it? Absolutely not. Do I plan on it in the future? Absolutely. And let me tell you why I plan on it. Because at some point, I'm going to have to go into another endeavor, right? Like, whether that's like, let's say I had a TV show I was starting, a random thing. Like, let's say I was starting a TV show. I would have, in that transition period, I would take stimulants. When the transition period ended, I would stop. Because your brain doesn't need, once you figure something out, you don't need a stimulant. If you're somebody who has really, and this is just for like when you have a project or something that is like maybe an interview or a new job, or like, but I'm talking doses that the doctor would give a little girl is what I'll be taking. Not a big man. When I was a boy, I was on 40 milligrams of Adderall. I cannot tolerate over 5 to 7.5 grams of Adderall now as an adult right now. Seriously, I can't even tolerate it, as far as like I can't function normally. Isn't this crazy, Sam, though? Like, if you take 5 milligrams of Adderall once a week, that's 52 days a year. You're fine. But the doctor fucking jams it up your every orifice in your body with the highest dosage and frequency, to the point where your brain can no longer even adapt to reality because you're so depleted.
Yes.
So I think, guys, you're damaging your own brain. It's no one else's.
I think I agree with a lot of the points you're making, and then also what Bran was making, that like it's bad, or like there's psychoactive, because all these things that we're talking about, stimulants, whether it's caffeine, DMA, ephedra, Adderall, Ritalin, et cetera, are tools, where I can use a tool to, like a hammer, to build a table, but I can also use that to fucking whack somebody in the head. So tools can be used in a productive way, or they can be used in a destructive way. And it is 100% dictated upon the individual's response of how they choose to use that tool. How many times have you seen somebody utilizing something, and being men, probably women have this too, but I don't know because I'm not, right? But when you see something doing something wrong, you want to help them to like get them to do it right, or like do it from the way that you perceive is correct. But it's just, these are all just tools that you can utilize in a positive way or negative way. Crypto Gains Club 369, I'm addicted to coffee since 5 years old. Grandpa lived till 105 in the morning, coffee every morning. I don't necessarily say it's a bad thing, but I think from a learning perspective, for me, it'll be good to just drop caffeine completely. I was up at a gram a day of caffeine, and now it's substantially less than that. And I think it might be a fun experience to drop it completely, even if I decide to, add some back in on a regular basis. But for me, it would be a fun process. So let's touch back on blood pressure stack. What did I do to drop my blood pressure? because I was already working out. Like what Keith had mentioned, he was not working out and started to work out. So if you're not working out and you have bad blood pressure, working out will help that. I added in 1 to 3 grams of ginger per day. It's $4 at Walmart. That, and all of these things that I'm mentioning are backed up by science, are backed, and not the science that the media talks about, not the science that our government talks about, like actual data, like the placebo-controlled studies with humans.
The real research literature that those companies don't even look at.
Yes. So 1 to 3 grams of ginger. There's plenty of data that shows how that's beneficial in lowering both of those. Potassium regulates sodium. So 100 to 400 milligrams of potassium per day. Beet juice. So you can either do beet juice or beetroot powder. I added that in as well. This is one that's probably going to throw everybody off. Mindfulness meditation. So generally speaking, I did it today, 20 minutes. That can have a multiplicative effect because you are meditation can increase the gray matter in your brain, so that can have effects in other areas of your life. It can reduce cortisol. It has the positive effects on learning, the attention capacity of what the individual. You can go on and on. The list is really long. Well, there's also data, I think it was from Harvard or the Mayo Clinic, that showed mindfulness meditation, which is a specific type, lowers blood pressure. Green tea, I reduce salt intake, so green tea most of the time first thing in the morning. A Cialis, which is a PDE5 inhibitor.
Now I do play with those, but not even in the sex way so much. Just for pump.
Right in the gym.
Only a little bit.
Like 5 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
How often?
Once a month. Only when I have a fucking carb load day where I want to go bananas and take pictures.
CMOS is another one.
Do you see my theme though with the way that I take drugs and the way that I've learned these from all you guys? Like once a month when I want to take pictures, I use them for like a day and I enjoy the experience and I think about it and I learn. I don't just, I got a sick pump from Cialis. I'm going to take it every day for the rest of my life in the gym. No, bad.
Bran. Well, so because we're not doctors, I can't recommend anything. But what I could say I would take if I had sildenafil, which is Viagra, the generic Viagra, is somewhere between 20 to 50, generally speaking.
What's the half-life on that?
That's like 6 to 8 hours for sildenafil.
So that's like right away.
Yeah, but if you, in my opinion, Bran, go get the generic Cialis, which is 36 hours. Its effect lasts for 36 hours, but the half-life is.
Is that something that you provide at all? I have a resource that I can show.
Yeah. So yeah, if you look up tadalafil or look up Cialis generic, how to spell it, right? TADA, similar to sildenafil. You can find sources. You can check my Instagram, the link in my profile. But remember, we're not doctors. We're not recommending you should.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Oh, yeah. No. We don't recommend anything. I don't use anything. I've never used a drug in my entire life.
But yeah,
ever.
It does help.
Never one drug. I've never used one. So any lawyers, I'm telling you right now, I've never used a drug.
This is strictly for entertainment purposes.
We are just sharing our experience in hypothetical circumstances. That's it.
Correct.
We are not doctors. This is not medical or financial advice.
Yes. One of the cool things about Cialis is, I just say Cialis because it's easier to say than Tadalafil, or however you say the name, is that it not only helps with blood pressure, but it also increases blood flow for the gym or for the bedroom kind of thing. What was that last one you just pulled up before this one?
He wants to ask your take on omega-369s and the benefits.
Omega-3. So there's a lot of things like the vegetable oils that have omega-6s. So you have omega-3, omega-6. Omega-6 is going to increase inflammation. There's something called, you've heard of arachidonic acid, correct, Scott?
Yes.
arachidonic acid is like omega-6. It increases, it's like a pro-inflammatory, it increases inflammation. So from a bodybuilding fitness standpoint, some people will utilize something like arachidonic acid to increase inflammation in the body. Omega-3 can help reduce inflammation from the body. When I think about it from my personal life,
I want to make a statement real quick.
go ahead.
Brand just donated me some money for the show.
Awesome.
And I want to, Brand, I'm trying to do this the right way. I really, really am. There's no one in this world that can tell me I'm trying to do this in a negative light, trying to shill anyone anything. I'm not. I'm trying to be informative, legit, like no, not legit, like nothing, not legit. Just everything we say, I want it to be passionate and legit. And if we don't know what we're saying, I want to have people on that do. Boom.
Thank you, Brand, for the support, for supporting. Like, that's fantastic. I know it's very helpful for Scott at this moment in time with everything. So that's fantastic. Well, if we're all going to be rich, can't we just do cosmetic surgery? Yes, but no, because what the path of resistance tends to be the most rewarding.
Look at that one.
Now, can you take me on a date?
Yes, of course I'll take you on a date, sweetie doll. I'll take you on a date this weekend.
One of the my girlfriend and I we don't go out on dates very often, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't or that you should live up to any standard that I live. That's not a good idea for anybody. But at this moment in time, I was like, hey, we're not going to be doing that for a little bit of time while I build my business. Unless you're flat chested.
Cosmetic surgery is cheating. I have my quarrels with that statement. I've never had cosmetic surgery of any sort, so I'm not saying I have. I literally haven't of any kind. I don't even know what the fuck people do. Like, what would I do to get cosmetics? Like my nose, maybe. Like I have a big nose, so maybe like if I wanted to get my nose done or something, I would say that is not cheating, in my opinion. That is totally fair game if you have the financial resources. And I'm going to say some controversial stuff real quick. So I think that changing your body in order, I had body shame issues when I was young. For whatever reason. I don't fucking know why. A short, blah, blah, blah. You just, the whole fucking thing. Like you're just sketched out about everything, insecure. I got my body to a point where like some of those fears kind of naturally disappeared, and I became much more productive because of that in my life. Like when I got all my attractiveness things figured out, whether you think that's right or wrong, when I became super fit, it opened up the rest of my mind because I no longer was curious about that anymore because I already experienced it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like almost had to go through, and I agree. I know people that have had liposuction, hair transplants. I agree that those are things that you should be able to do if you have the means. But yeah, I want to admit, like I was so insecure as a youngster. Like I can't even relate to being secure until I was like out of college. What about you, Sam?
I was just reading this thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through some of those. They're crazy. Me and Brand could go all day long, dude. He's a really good guy.
I think that there's a delicate line there. Not that I judge. I don't give a shit what anybody else does. I've done laser hair removal for like underneath my neck here and then my stomach. So that's kind of cosmetic surgery in the very casual sense of the word. But when people look for that as a way to solve,
yeah, and I kind of did it naturally. Like
yeah.
I did it like with hard work.
But that's why it's like,
yeah. But at the same time,
saying.
If you're either going to be successful or not. Like not successful people like fuck off with all information because you're going to be a loser anyway. But if you're a successful person, take this information and use it, right? Like you're successful people in this chat only. I guarantee you, dude. There's no fucking dorks in this chat. Yeah, maybe there's a dork. But like everyone in here is understanding that they're taking accountability for themselves. So when you're talking to this group right here, the people that watch my shit, These are people, because the minute people see me, people that don't take accountability for themselves, they run for the hills and they call me a narcissistic fuckboy. That's what they do every time, guys. So I know what you're going to say before you say it because I've been getting it told to me for the last 5 years. It's funny because I can easily identify people by what they call me. It's actually kind of funny.
Yes, it is. It's very, very funny. Like, because you already know what's going on in their head most of the time. Like when they're coming out in a negative way towards you.
P is a huge proponent for laser hair removal.
I mean, I was a fan of it. I will do it again. Like this underneath here, you probably can't tell because of the quality of the webcam, but this still has hair. Nothing crazy, but it's probably like it's not like my fucking face, right? I started shaving when I was 12. But I like laser hair removal. The only thing about the cosmetic thing is I feel as though you just got to be careful to not use that as a crutch to not take that responsibility. Like you were talking about, everybody's taking responsibility, Scott, but sometimes I feel like people use it as a way to not take responsibility for what needs to be done. But I'll definitely do. That's why I pointed at myself when you said there's a dork in here.
Yeah, no, I totally forget it. Like I'm the big. First of all, guys, let's see what the definition of a dork is. I was a 99 skill cape RuneScape before RuneScape was even a thing. I was a RuneScaper, a dork. All I did was play computer games. Classic beat off computer game loser from 12 to 17. And now things changed because of athletics for me. Like I just had a lot of friends really because of that kind of thing. And that kind of projected me and socially because I figured out a lot of stuff. But yeah, I won't say dork anymore. The dork thing is so let me see some of these. I want to talk about this one first. I feel like most people do gym rat about body issues. Yeah, I'm the first one to tell you I have a wonderful body, and I had body issues. I don't anymore, to be honest. I really fucking don't. I could give a fuck now, to be honest. But for my whole life, I did. Like my whole entire life, I had bad. Like I didn't, and until I got super ripped. So maybe I still have those insecurities inside of me. Maybe I still have issues with that are unresolved. But yes, in general, Brand, most people are such bullshitters about that. Nobody says they're insecure about anything. They're so afraid to say it. It's not that hard, guys.
Yeah, no, correct, 100%. And I'm sure that I have issues with that in certain areas of my life. Got to jump to a meeting with a client. Love y'all. Love you too, Keith. Appreciate you stopping in.
Keith is a balling Hexican freaking OG hodling Chad.
So that's actually perfect because we have come up on an hour. I don't know if what your thoughts are, Scott, but we had talked previously about probably trying to keep them around an hour. I'd like to hear what you guys' thoughts are in the comments to continue getting stuff done. But we are going to have another show tomorrow, and we're going to be covering a lot more crypto-related stuff. We can dive deeper into Hedron. And
Sam, we have a chance, and I'm just going to say this on live. You don't have to do anything. But this chat was good, and we're now a little bit versed in it, and we could probably do a really organized one in front of 500 people at 6 o'clock tonight. If you want to do that, I will set it up right now. And I know it's a big pain in the ass, dude, but I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of exposure because of it. A lot.
I would be down. Talking similar topics.
Similar topics. We'll start with crypto, but a little more crypto heavy, and then just self-improvement life vibes.
I'm down.
I want to just so whatever you do to get in a really good, comfortable position, do that before the stream because I'm going to do the same. I'm going to really center myself because it's easy. In the morning, we're very passionate, but at night, I get the same way. I turn a little more dull and my mind starts losing energy. I'm going to rest. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to think. And I'm going to work out really hard too.
Yes, I'm definitely down. If you guys want to tune into that, that's going to be
so 6:30. You want to make it's up to you. It's up to you. 6 or 6:30.
I'm down. Yeah, 6:30. 6:30.
All right, so 6:30. We are going to do an episode on. I'm going to introduce the world to Sam as a new. He's not a new Hexican, whatever he is. He's a fucking mind-bending dope dude who's learning over here. But he also does a lot of this stuff. So on my journey to expand Hex crypto world, Holstein crypto world, I want to reach out to the bodybuilding community and that in different avenues. You know what I mean? Like, let's bring them on the show. What the fuck? It's two birds with one stone. He's got a following. I got a following. It's just like, let's do it.
Collaboration. 100%.
Guys, every single person in this chat have a wonderful day. And I think you guys are awesome. If you want anything, we're going to be back tonight. Like, fuck, let's go. And I'm going to be researching the whole time. It's going to be sick nasty. All right, guys. Awesome. I don't need a big exo because we're going to see you later. Links down below. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to have a supplement company. Hex.com. Ah!
Thanks, Crypto Games. Appreciate you guys. I'll see everybody tonight.